It's been a decade since Minecon 2011 when Notch first flipped that lever and gave us Minecraft. And since then, Minecraft has grown to be the best-selling video game of all time, as well as being one of, if not the most popular game ever made. Minecraft has many side games as well as books, official or otherwise, and has inspired many a song parody and fan animation. Some being amazing, while some are a bit more, questionable. But regardless, it's undeniable that Minecraft has touched the lives of many people across the entire world, including myself. If I remember correctly, I first started playing Minecraft Java Edition when it was in update 1.8, the bountiful update. Fun fact, it was in making my Minecraft account that I used the name Doggy Extreme 101 for the first time. But anyway, it's hard to believe that we've gone from that to 1.16 with 1.17 on the way. As I said in my review of Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft is one of my most favorite games of all time, and since its birthday is coming up, I decided to do a video about it. However, since this is a special occasion, I decided to get a partner for this video. So may I introduce to you Flawless Saber.
Hello everyone, Flawless Saber, and I just want to thank Michael for inviting me to work on this video with him, because when he asked me to work on it, I was really excited to do this.
You're welcome, Liam. Anyway, we made this by each thinking up 5 different things we would like to see in a future Minecraft update, and then putting them together for a list of 10. Basically, number 10 will be Liam's idea, then number 9 will be my idea, then number 8 will be Liam's, so on and so forth until we reach number 1. Also, it's important to note that this list isn't in any specific order, like where the stuff higher on the list we would like to see more than the stuff lower on the list. It's all just stuff we would like to see in a future Minecraft update. But anyway, without further ado, let's begin with...
Minecraft Update 1.11, you are given the Illagers, and with the arrival of the Illagers came the Evoker and the Totem of Undying. But who's to say that there shouldn't be any other types of totems? And that's why for number 10, I propose to you different types of totems.
What me and Liam define as a totem is an item that activates when you die. For example, if the original Totem of Undying, if you die while holding it with either your main or offhand, it will save you from death. And we want to keep that idea with most of the totems, though we'll have a few that activate just within your inventory and you don't have to hold them for it. To get your hands on these new totems, there are a few options that we could go with. One way is making it so that instead of always just dropping one Totem of Undying, an Evoker will drop one of a randomly selected type of totem. Another alternative could be different Illager types drop different types of totems. For example, the unadded Illusioner when killed could drop a totem that when you die saves you from death and turns you invisible while spawning copies of you to distract your attacker while you make your escape. Or a new Thief type Illager could drop a Totem of Keeping that allows you to keep your items when you die. But I think my favorite possible way of getting these totems is having it so that Evokers will drop a totem with no effects rather than the Totem of Undying, and adding a new crafting station to Woodland Mansions that would allow you to use certain items to imbue totems with special effects. What these items will be could range from normal items such as blaze powder or gas tiers, or perhaps the items could be different types of gems, and the differences between the totems visually would have different eye colors to represent the gems being used. Or maybe you could find a new enchantment in Woodland Mansions that could be applied to swords or axes that would allow you to collect the souls of things you killed with it and use it to make totems. After all, the reason the Illagers were banished was because of unspeakable activities, and I think most people can agree that taking someone's soul is a dick move.
So examples of other totems could be the Totem of Keeping, which would allow you to keep your inventory upon death. As well, this totem would be one of the ones that you wouldn't have to have in your hand to activate it. This item would be very useful because it is very frustrating to lose all of your items when you die. Okay, another totem we could add is the Totem of Blazing, which acts similar to the Totem of Undying. But instead of giving you regeneration and absorption, instead it would set the enemies around you on fire, and it would give you a strength and resistance boost. As well, it would heal you back up to 3 or 4 hearts. This tome would encourage you to rush in and kill your enemies before they kill you again. The next tome we have have is the Totem of the Undead. When you die holding this totem, it would turn you undead and give you a few special attributes, such as the effects of healing and health potions being reversed, as well as the effects on screen right now. This totem would be interesting because it would add in a whole new way to play Minecraft, but it's definitely the least likely to be added. And finally, the Totem of Creeping. This totem would not save you from dying, but instead, upon death, you would explode, basically to serve as a giant middle finger to the person who killed you. As well, there are many more examples of totems that we couldn't fit into this video, and that's why I would like to see more totems in Minecraft.
The thing about this list is that me and Liam tried to make the entries more overarching and add a lot of stuff as opposed to just a singular block or item. For example, with the last entry, instead of it just being the Totem of Keeping, we went with more totems. This was so we could fit more stuff in one entry and give you more examples of what we want to see. And out of all the entries on this list, I think this one covers the most stuff because it's about more block variations.
What we mean by block variations are blocks such as purple and quartz pillars. Because while they are made of different materials, they are still both pillar blocks. So let's say if granite, andesite, and diorite pillars are added to the game, then that is what we count as more block variations. Adding more block variations like these will not only give players more choices for blocks when making builds, perhaps structures in the game could be updated with these new blocks to look nicer. For example, if a Prismarine pillar was added to the game, then the ocean monument could incorporate it into its design.
Liam already mentioned making andesite, granite, and diorite pillars, but why not also be able to make them into bricks? And as well, it could be possible to make those brick variations into stairs. Smooth basalt was recently added into 1.17 snapshots, so why not be able to turn to smooth basalt bricks? And of course, you would be able to turn that into stairs and walls as well. Same goes for tuff and calcite. As well, I'm gonna say that more block variations also covers blocks such as wood, which comes in different colors. Dinnerbone once thought of implementing dyed wood planks, though that never did happen, and from the looks of it, it doesn't even need to. This is because with the introduction of the warped and crimson planks in the Never update, it has shown that trees in different dimensions in the overworld could cover plank colors that don't exist in real world trees. So if the end ever got a tree or tree substitute like the funguses in the Nether, perhaps the purple planks could come from them. When you name a sheep Jeb underscore in Minecraft, it turns into a rainbow sheep, but you can't shear it to get rainbow wool. So how about we make it so you can get rainbow wool, and as such be able to get rainbow carpets and beds and the like. And the last thing I'm going to talk about for more block variations are different types of fire. In update 1.16, fires lit on soul sand now become soul fire, which is blue and does more damage than regular fire. And as well, you could make soul torches and soul lanterns using soul sand. So maybe you could make it that fires that start on copper blocks become green copper sulfate fires. And as well, we could make it so you could turn copper ingots into copper sulfate, which could then be used to make copper sulfate torches and lanterns. How about when you use dragon's breath on a block, it creates dragon fire, which does even more damage than soul fire. And of course, using dragon's breath, you'd also be able to create dragon torches and dragon lanterns. And perhaps the fires that come with the end crystals could be changed to dragon fire to fit in a bit more of the end. So yeah, there's a lot you can do when adding more block variations, which is why I put it on this list.
One of the things you'll find while exploring your Minecraft worlds are randomly generated structures. Whether they are as essential as the stronghold, as big as the woodland mansions, or as useless as the desert well, one thing all of them share is that they add variety to what you see in Minecraft. As well as some of them, like the end cities and the bastions, have really good loot, which makes them worth finding. So for number 8, I'd like to see more structures in Minecraft.
Adding more structures into Minecraft wouldn't just increase the variety, but also give you more of a reason to explore and make the world feel more alive. And as well, perhaps these new structures can have loot you can only get from them. As well, these new structures could add more to Minecraft's technical lore, as many theories have been made about the nature of Minecraft, and with 1.17, Minecraft is apparently going to have history due to the archaeology mechanic.
The first new structure we have for you is the Crimson Mine Shaft found in the Nether. We thought of this structure because it says on the official Minecraft site that the reason netherite can be only found in ancient debris is because the Piglins mined all the pure netherite. So perhaps maybe ancient debris would be more common around these mine shafts, which would make them worth going to. The next structure we have is the Badlands Catacomb. It would be filled with grave-like structures that have zombie spawners and chests in them, as well as one of the graves being a secret entrance to a bottom floor. And this bottom floor will contain a broken nether portal-like structure, as well as chests and 5 zoglins that don't respawn. We chose zoglins because they were the best nether mob to add here that is hostile and wouldn't break the game progression. The bottom floor would also contain 2 structures, with one hinting at how to summon the wither and another hinting on how to activate the beacon. It would also have lava. The reason that the bottom floor of this structure is so related to the nether is because the chiseled red sandstone depicts the wither, which can only be fought after accessing the nether. And the last structure we have for you is the nether ship. It would be found in the lava oceans and would be the home to piglins and Piglen birds. And the chest would mainly contain gold stuff, iron, leather, rarely pig stuff, and sometimes even netherite scraps or ingots. We included this structure because we thought it was cool. In short, adding more structures would make a Minecraft world feel more alive and make players more inclined to explore.
One of the best things about Minecraft is how vast the worlds are. In Java Edition, if you wrap the Minecraft world with the borders together, you get a planet with a circumference twice the size of our Earth. And in Minecraft Bedrock, the worlds are literally infinite. The only thing stopping you from exploring them being that the world generation just up and dies if you go out too far. And let's not forget that they're randomly generated too, so each world you play will be completely different from the last. These worlds deserve to be explored, so how should we encourage players to do just that? By adding more treasure, of course.
One example of a treasure already in Minecraft is the Totem of Undying. It cannot be crafted and can only be obtained by killing the Evoker, which only spawns in woodland mansions and raids. As well, the Heart of the Sea and the Conduit also count as a treasure, because the Heart of the Sea can only be found in buried treasures and cannot be crafted, while the Conduit can be crafted but uses the Heart of the Sea.
So for our purposes today, a treasure item counts as an item that cannot be crafted and can only be found in structures, or as a drop from a rare mob such as the Evoker, or an item that can be crafted but its crafting recipe consists of an item that meets the requirements mentioned previously. So anyway, the first treasure I have for you is the Ender Bucket. It's like a regular bucket, except it can carry more liquids than one. 3 could be a good number, but if it's found later in the game, then that number may need to be bumped up a bit. Maybe to like 5 or even 7. The obvious use for this is conserving inventory space, since filled buckets don't stack. So for example, if you use the Ender Bucket when filling a lava moat, you'd get it done faster since you could fit more lava into your inventory and wouldn't have to keep going back to some place to refill your buckets. I was thinking at first because this was an Ender item, it should be found in either the End City or Stronghold chests, but thinking about it, it'd probably be more useful if it was found in structures that can be accessed earlier in the game, such as desert temples, jungle pyramids, and dungeons. The next treasure I have for you is the Piglen Gold Ring, which is obtained by giving a Piglen a netherite block. The reason you obtain it this way is because the netherite block is probably the hardest block to get in Minecraft, and I thought people should get a reward for having the patience to obtain it beyond just bragging rights. How it would work is that not only would piglins not attack you if you are holding it, but they will become entirely passive. For example, stuff that would normally anger them, such as opening a chest or breaking a block of gold, wouldn't if you're holding the ring. And not only that, piglin brutes won't attack you if you're holding the ring unless you attack them first. And maybe we could even make it so that if something attacks you while you're holding the ring, the piglins will get angry at them. So it is very useful, but it is definitely going to take you a while to get it, since you need a full block of netherite. And the final treasure is an Uncrafting Table. It is found in the End Cities and would be able to uncraft items, but at a cost. What this cost could be could range from, for example, not getting everything you used to craft the item back. Like, for example, if you use it to uncraft diamond leggings, you'd only get 5 diamonds instead of 7. Or it could require XP to uncraft, or perhaps a fuel source like ender pearls. One example of how this could be useful is, let's say you're crafting diamond armor and you accidentally make 2 helmets. If you had the Uncrafting Table, all you have to do is put one of your helmets in it and get your diamonds back. The reason it spawns in end cities would be because uncrafting is a pretty powerful thing, so it would be more balanced if it was obtained late in the game. All in all, adding more treasures would encourage and reward players for exploring the vast worlds of Minecraft, which is why I included it on this list.
In the beta 1.9 pre-release, villagers have been in the game even before launch and received a huge overhaul in update 1.14. By trading with them using emeralds, you can get a variety of items such as maps to structures from the cartographer or enchanted books from the librarian. While villagers do have plenty of job types already, adding more definitely wouldn't hurt, which is why for number 6 on this list, I chose more villager job types.
One advantage of adding more villager job types beyond just being able to get more items from villagers would be adding more variety to villages. This is because with new job types, you'd also have to add new buildings for them. For example, if we added a beekeeper villager, we'd also have to have an apiary. And if we added an archaeologist type villager, perhaps his house could be connected to a dig site. As well, in update 1.14 Village and Pillage, the blast furnace and smoker were added among other blocks used as job sites for villagers. As such, these new job site blocks could have uses beyond getting these new villagers. And even if they're like the fletching table and don't do anything, they still would look pretty good for decoration.
Like Michael just mentioned, 2 new possible villager job types would be the archaeologist and the beekeeper. The job site block for the beekeeper would be the beehive, but we can't think of a block for the archaeologist. Beekeeper would most likely sell you honey bottles, honeycombs, and campfires, while he would most likely buy full beehives and flowers. But the archaeologist could sell you brushes, pots, and maybe even maps to nearby dig sites, while he would buy ceramic shards, iron clay pots, and facts you'd find well in the dig site. Another job type that could be added is the engineer. Your house could be filled with basic redstone contraptions such as redstone clocks or AND gates. They would most likely buy items such as redstone dust, iron ingots, and quartz, and would sell you various redstone components. And for the last villager job, you have the Pyrotechnics. This job site block could be a new type of crafting station used for fireworks. He would most likely buy items used for firework stars and would sell firework rockets with different types of patterns. This would be especially useful for fireworks to have a trail effect or a creeper face explosion because they use difficult to obtain items, diamonds, and mob heads respectively. Overall, adding more villager job types would add more variety to villagers and allow players to get more out of them, which is why I think this is a great idea.
Despite having mine in its name, Minecraft has been criticized for the fact that mining can be boring and there's a big lack of incentive to do so. It's why the community has been wanting a cave update for so long now, and that's exactly what we got when Mojang announced update 1.17. However, something that surprised me is that despite being a cave update, it only came with 1 new ore, being copper. So while Caves and Cliffs has shown that it has more than enough content to give people the incentive to go mining, I definitely think adding more ores to the game would be a good idea.
Now, when we say we want more ores, we aren't saying that we should add more armor and toolsets. We just got netherite, and if we add more armor and toolsets, then that can throw off the game's progression, especially if we add it in between the already existing progression. Of course, these ores still need to have a use, otherwise there'd be no point in adding them. One potential use could be simply as decoration, as both copper and quartz can't be used to make armor or toolsets, and are mainly used to make decorative blocks such as cut copper and quartz pillars.
Though they can have other uses even beyond that. For example, the first new ore we have for you is sulfur ore. It would be quite common, and when you mine it, it gives you sulfur dust, which, when you combine it with coal, will be able to create gunpowder. This would make it easier to acquire gunpowder in large numbers, which would make TNT more more useful for mining since it'd be easier to obtain, and as well makes it so fireworks are easier to get for when you fly with an Elytra. As well, perhaps it could be used to make fertilizer. The next ore I have for you is Kobo Ore, which when mined will drop Cobalt Blue, and its primary use would be in redstone contraption. You see, when placed down, Cobalt Blue acts like redstone wire, but it won't connect to any redstone dust. It'll only connect to other Cobalt Blue. As well, Cobalt Blue and perhaps even components created with it would act more like Bedrock's edition of redstone, which differs in a few ways from Java editions, some being 1, it can work underwater, 2, it lacks quasi-connectivity, 3, it's a bit more unpredictable, and 4, block entities can be pushed. This would be great because it would allow you to use the strengths of one version's redstone systems, but also be able to avoid its weaknesses. For example, if you're making a contraption that requires block entities to be pushed, use bluestone, and if you're making a contraption that requires quasi-connectivity, use redstone. And the last ore I have for you is Nether Iron Ore, which I thought about adding just because it would really make sense. In the Nether, the Bastion loot tables can contain iron ingots, nuggets, and even blocks, and as well, the crossbows, which are commonly carried by piglins, require an iron ingot to be crafted. However, other than the Bastions, there isn't any way to get iron in Minecraft, so where are the piglins getting the iron from? I can think of 2 ways this Nether Iron Ore can work. 1 is like Nether Gold Ore, though a bit rarer, and drops nuggets when mined. But I thought of another way it could be added, which could be kind of the opposite of Nether Gold Ore. With this way, it would actually be kind of rare, but when you find it and smelt it, you'd get an iron block for your troubles. Overall, adding more ores to the game would add more incentive to mine, which is 1/2 of the game's title, and as well, they would have uses which would be fun to experiment with, which is why I want to see more ores in Minecraft.
All the items, blocks, entities, and everything in between in Minecraft, the one who can do the most is the shadow of a doubt, redstone. It's redstone dust and the mechanisms crafted with it that people have been able to make things as simple as lights that can turn on and off, piston doors, to things as complicated as walking towns and working computers, all in Minecraft. As such, it stands to reason that people can make things this impressive with what they have now, then adding more redstone mechanisms can allow people to make things that will cost even these, which is why for number 4, I would like to see more redstone mechanisms in Minecraft.
Adding more redstone mechanisms to Minecraft would not only make it so that beginners to redstone would have more things to try out, but experienced redstoners would be able to create even more awesome things than they do already. As well, these new mechanisms could utilize the new copper ingots and blocks. This is because in real life, copper's defining trait is being highly conductive, and redstone is basically Minecraft's form of electricity. One example of something we could do with this is adding in copper bars, which would be like iron bars, but of course made out of copper, but it would also be different from iron bars in that through the use of either a direct redstone signal or a special contraption, you could charge them and basically make an electric fence that damages things on contact. As well, if this fence or contraption touched water, it would electrify it as well. As well, if you tried to mine these copper bars while they were charged, they would damage you, and they would deal more damage if you're using conductive gear like iron.
Another example of a redstone mechanism we can add is a cannon. Basically, it would be like a dispenser, but the items would be shot out with more or less power depending on the redstone signal. For example, when the signal power is 1, it would be more like a dropper, but if it was 12, it would be quite a bit more powerful than a dispenser. This would be useful with arrows, since an arrow's damage is based on its velocity, and as well, fire charges shot from a cannon would act more like gas fireballs. Next redstone components we have for you are the placer and the breaker. No prizes for guessing what these blocks do. Breaker could have uses when connected to a cobblestone or basalt generator, and the placer could be used for something like a contraption that replaces your anvil when it breaks. Since the breaker would be made with an iron pick, it wouldn't be able to mine things such as obsidian or ancient debris, because that would require a diamond or netherite pickaxe. And the last component we have is the Prismarine Laser, and you can think of 2 ways that it can work. The first way is that when it's activated, it will fire a laser in the direction it is facing that damages entities, and could also possibly be redirected by perhaps a Prismarine Laser type block. And perhaps another block could act as a receiver that emits a redstone signal when hit by the beam. The other way it can work is that when powered by a redstone signal, it will shoot a beam at nearby hostile mobs or maybe even other players. Adding new redstone components to Minecraft will allow players to do what previously was impossible with their contraption, and that is why I want to see more redstone components in Minecraft.
Probably one of the most important features in Minecraft are potions, as they are very helpful for when you take on challenges like the Ender Dragon or the Wither, or even when you're just playing PvP. However, potions in Brewing haven't been updated in a long while, as the last time new potions were added was in update 1.13, the upgrade Aquatic, which was 3 years ago, and the last time the brewing process was updated was in 1.9, the combat update, which was 5 years ago. And as well, there are so many ways you could add on to this system. So that's why for update number 3, I give to you Improved Brewing.
The obvious way to improve brewing is by adding new potions, of course. And there's plenty of them we could add, especially with the new resources added in both update 1.16 and 1.17. For example, perhaps a potion brewed with the warp fungus could teleport you to your spawn point, and a potion brewed with a new caves and cliffs item, perhaps something found in the deep dark, could give you an effect called Ore Sight, which would highlight ores. As well as giving brewable potions to effects that don't currently have them would be a good idea. For example, perhaps you can make it so that adding a fermented spider eye to a night vision potion gives you a blindness potion instead of an invisibility potion.
So, the Cauldron. Cool decoration block, but it's kind of useless outside the Nether, since it can only fill 3 water bottles before having to be refilled, while Water Source block can fill infinite. In Minecraft Bedrock Edition, instead of just being able to fill cauldrons with water, lava, or powdered snow, you can also fill them with potions. So what I propose is that you should be able to take a potion and fill a cauldron up with it, and then be able to use a bucket on that cauldron to get a liquid of that potion in a bucket, which you can then place down. And it would flow like water, though it wouldn't be able to make an infinite potion source or be used with dripstone because that'd be too OP. This would be great for base defense, because instead of just having a lava moat, you could have a poisonous lava moat. As well, if these potion liquids float into water, lava, or a different potion liquid, they would explode, because in Bedrock, if you try to put water, lava, or a different potion into a cauldron that already has a potion in it, it will play an explosion sound and the cauldron will empty. As well, maybe you could add mixed potions to the game. First off, there'd have to be a limit as to how many potion effects could be put into one potion, and I think 3 is a good number balance-wise, but also because the cauldron can hold 3 levels of potions, and the way to get these mixed potions is gonna involve cauldrons. As well, the other item you're gonna need to mix potions could be found in the basalt deltas. This is because they are incredibly dangerous to travel through, but they don't really have a use beyond being able to get a lot of magma cream. So basically, a flower type item would spawn in lava pools in the basalt deltas, and how you would mix potions is by first putting a potion into a cauldron, then putting in that flower, then putting in another potion, then putting in that flower again, and then putting in another potion. Then you would either use bottles or a bucket to get that potion out of the cauldron. Overall, brewing could definitely use an update to make it more interesting, and I think what I've detailed here definitely succeeds in that.
One thing that adds a ton of variety to Minecraft worlds is the many different types of biomes you can discover. From the common plains to the elusive mushroom biome, Minecraft has a ton of different biomes with different resources such as burying trees and animals. As such, why not add even more variety with even more biomes?
We aren't just talking about new biomes for the overworld here. Minecraft's other dimensions could definitely benefit from the addition of new biomes. I'm mainly speaking about the end here since the Nether update just happened. But anyway, even though the end technically has 5 biomes, they all look basically identical, so there needs to be some variety here. And the best thing about thinking up new biomes for the end dimension is that since the end is so alien to the point where water, which is essential for life on on Earth is harmful to its residents, that you can do basically anything with the end without giving a fuck on whether it conforms with anything here on Earth. If you want to see just what can be done at the end, check out mods like the Energetic Expansion or Better End, because those mods add some pretty incredible stuff to the end. And even though 1.16 did just happen, if we were to add more biomes to the Nether, well, we'd probably want more that really convey what the Nether is. Don't get me wrong here, I love all the biomes added in 1.16, but the thing is, all of them, excluding the Basalt Deltas and maybe the Soul Sand Valley, have a more warm appearance in opposition to what the Nether really is. A place so scorching hot that water can't even exist there. Well, you know, unless you put it into a cauldron. But yeah, if we're adding more biomes to the Nether, then we should add more ones that look really hot. Maybe even a biome that you can't even be in without fire resistance, or else you just burn.
As for new biomes for the overworld, the first one we have for you is the Bioluminescent Caves. It will be filled with water and would be the home of glow squids and perhaps another new mob. And maybe you'll be able to find some bioluminescent plants and fungi which could possibly be used in brewing. And perhaps with the addition of a new mushroom, we could add in a new bioluminescent mushroom that spawns there. The next biome we have for you is the Redwood Forest. This biome would be filled with redwood trees that would be able to reach 50 blocks in height and be able to be cut into planks with a red color, which would be useful for players who want to build something with a redwood type but can't reach the Nether yet. As well, perhaps grizzly bears and squirrels could be added to inhabit these new forests. In short, adding more biomes to Minecraft would make the game's world more diverse and more fun to explore.
I know I said at the beginning that this list isn't in any particular order, but out of everything we've talked about on this list, this edition and improved brewing are probably the ones I want to see most in Minecraft. But that being said, the final thing we have on this list for you today is teleportation portals.
One advantage of adding teleportation portals, aside from just being able to get from place to place faster, would be easier mob transportation. For example, it can be very time consuming trying to get a shulker from the end to your house, because you first have to find an end city, get a shulker into a boat, then take the boat to the main island, and then through the portal. With the teleportation portal, all you would have to do is set up a portal on the main island, find an end city, then make a teleportation portal that links up to the one on the main island, then just put your shulker into a boat, go through the teleportation portal, just get the long trek back to the main island. And the portal can work through dimensions, then you wouldn't even have to go back to the main island.
Of course, that leaves the question of how you would craft this portal. And I think for the main portal block, you'd use either crying obsidian or something crafted from it. So to make the portal, you basically make a nether portal, but instead of using regular obsidian, you use crying obsidian. And as well, you replace one of the blocks in the portal with what I'm gonna call the portal anchor. It would be crafted with 4 crying obsidian, an eye of ender, and perhaps 4 of a new material from the end. Maybe even from a new ore. As well, when you craft it, it will create 2 portal anchors. Then you just use a flint and steel to light it, and boom, you have yourself a teleportation portal. Of course, we are going to need a way to connect portals to each other, and there are multiple ways we can do this. First off is having it so you can enter in a number to the portal anchor, and then when you walk through the portal, it teleports you to another portal that has the same number in its anchor. Another way we can do this is by giving the portal anchor an inventory, and when you go through the portal, it'll teleport you to a different portal which has the same inventory. So overall, adding teleportation portals like these would help you get place to place faster and make mob transportation a hell of a lot easier, which is why I want to see teleportation portals in Minecraft. And that was 10 things we would like to see in a future Minecraft update. Of course, there are a lot of things we would have liked to see in future Minecraft updates that we couldn't fit on this list, whether their probability of getting in was high or not. But even if Mojang never does add the stuff we listed on here, then we still will enjoy the new updates, unless they add in something like auto jump again. As well, this is my first collab video, so tell me if you enjoyed it in the comments. I certainly had fun working on it.
I did too. Thank you for having me on, Michael. I hope we can work together again someday.
Thanks, but I don't think that's gonna be happening.
Hey, what? Michael, what the fuck are you doing?
Performing a human sacrifice to our Lord Herobrine.
But Michael, why are you sacrificing me?
Look, Liam, I'd love to tell you all my reasons, but I'm trying to keep this video under 10 hours, so I'll keep it brief. You initially pronounced cartographer as cartographer. I am completely justified in spilling your blood on this floor, even if it wasn't for a sacrifice.
Echo, we're in a black void right now. There is no floor.
Smartass. Well, time to summon Hero Brian. Fear me, mortals, for I am Hero Brian. Who dares summon me? Oh, great Hero Brian, it is as your humble servant that I request you take my sacrifice and add vertical slabs into Minecraft. That is something I can do at the cost of your mortal soul. Huh. The demon world must have really spotty internet connection. Probably using Rogers. Well, anyway, that's the end of this video for today, and I hope you enjoyed. If you want to check out Liam's channel, I'll leave a link to it in the description, though I don't think he'll be uploading any videos anytime soon. Call it a gut feeling. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, why not leave a like? And if you enjoy the other content on my channel, why not subscribe? But anyway, remember, a human life is definitely worth sacrificing if it gets vertical slabs into Minecraft, and see you on the next video.